Welcome to Every Fact Ever. Like and subscribe for more amazing facts. My name's Ian Moresbury, and this is 50 Facts About William Shakespeare, written by Diva Cipollai. Fact number 1. William Shakespeare's exact birth date remains a mystery to this day, although he was believed to be born sometime in April 1564 and was baptised on the 26th of April. Some historians think that he might have actually been born before this time. Fact number 2. Shakespeare is considered the world's greatest dramatist. He was also widely regarded as the greatest writer of the English language. Fact number 3. Shakespeare had 7 siblings. He had 4 sisters named Joan, Judith, Anne and Margaret. Also 3 brothers named Gilbert, Richard and Edmund. Fact number 4. Shakespeare's surviving works consist of about 39 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 narrative poems and other unclassified works. His sonnets expanded opportunities for poets, academics and students to bring poetry and drama into their lives. Fact number 5. Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire, in the United Kingdom. He also grew up in the same place. Fact number 6. Shakespeare is known as England's national poet, as well as the Bard of Avalon. Historically, a bard is someone who enjoys writing lyrical verses. However, these days the title is given to somebody who's considered a great poet. Fact number 7. When Shakespeare was just 18, he married a farmer's daughter, Anne Hathaway. Hathaway was already 25 at the time. Fact number 8. Shakespeare and Hathaway's marriage was quite abrupt, since Hathaway was already 3 months pregnant at the time of their nuptials. Shakespeare and his wife had 3 children, Susanne, Judith and Hamlet. Fact number 9. One of Shakespeare's children, Hamlet, died at the young age of 11. He was buried in Stratford-upon-Avon on the 11th of August 1596. The cause of his death is unknown. Fact number 10. Shakespeare was responsible for introducing almost 3,000 words to the English language. He was credited by the Oxford English Dictionary for introducing a substantial amount of words and developing the English language. Fact number 11. We've been spelling Shakespeare's name incorrectly for years. Sources from William Shakespeare's lifetime spelled his name in more than 80 different ways, ranging from Shakespeare to Saxbeard. Fact number 12. Shakespeare penned a curse on anybody daring to remove his body. His epitaph was, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed he be that moves my bones." Fact number 13. A study found that Shakespeare's skull may have been stolen by grave robbers. The first archaeological investigation of Shakespeare's grave at Holy Trinity Church in Stratford-upon-Avon was carried out for a documentary in 2016. Researchers concluded that Shakespeare's skull was taken from what appears to be a shallow grave by trophy hunters. Fact number 14. Unlike their father, Shakespeare's children were illiterate. It's quite likely that Shakespeare's wife and children never learned to read or write, as was often the case for people of their standing during the Elizabethan era. Fact number 15. Between 1585 and 1592, there was no record of what Shakespeare had been doing. Historians consider these the lost years of his life, since nobody knew where he was. Fact number 16. Shakespeare rose to fame again, emerging as an actor and a playwright. He also became a shareholder in an acting company known as the Lord Chamberlain's Men. Fact number 17. Most of Shakespeare's famous works were written between 1589 and 1613. His earlier plays were mostly comedies and histories. Fact number 18. Plays performed at the theatre The Globe featured unique special effects, including trapdoors, actors lifted with wires, smoke and fires. The competition was fierce, so they had to put on a show that were completely different to anything that had been done before. Putting on bigger special effects brought in larger audiences and made Shakespeare's work even more popular. Fact number 19. A modern version of the Globe Theatre was constructed in London in 1997. The new theatre is a spitting image of the original. Fact number 20. Shakespeare's shortest play is The Comedy of Errors, which has 1,770 lines, while his longest play is Hamlet, which has 4,042 lines. Fact number 21. Unlike most of the famous artists during his time, Shakespeare was considerably wealthy. This was confirmed after his death. His will showed that he owned several large plots of land, which was unusual for the everyday man to own at this time. Fact number 22. The longest word in Shakespeare's works was in Lovers' Labour's Lost. One of his characters said, honorific atupatatatus, which meant invincible, glorious, honourableness. Fact number 23. Shakespeare performed in many of his own plays. He also played in several works of other playwrights. Fact number 24. Surprisingly, despite his writing prowess, Shakespeare never attended university. He did, however, attend the King Edward VI Grammar School in his hometown at the age of 7 in 1571, and left school when he was just 14. Fact number 25. Suicide was a recurring theme in Shakespeare's plays. 13 unlucky times, in fact. It occurred in Romeo and Juliet, where both Romeo and Juliet committed suicide. In Julius Caesar, where both Cassius and Brutus died by consensual stabbing. Fact number 26. No one knows for sure how Shakespeare died in real life. However, many thought it was from a typhoid outbreak. Fact number 27. When Shakespeare died, he only left his wife a bed in his will. The law at the time automatically entitled his wife to a third of her husband's estate and the use of the family home for the rest of her life. Shakespeare leaving a bed for his wife was actually an act of love. Fact number 28. The word love appears 150 times in Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare wasn't afraid of repetition in his works when it was necessary. Fact number 29. Only 2 of Shakespeare's plays were written entirely in verse. These were Richard II and King John. Most of his other plays featured prose for more than half of the text. Fact number 30. Shakespeare passed away a month after signing his will. This came as a surprise since he often described himself as being in perfect health. Fact number 31. Shakespeare's original grave marker portrayed him holding a bag of grain. However, in 1747, Stratford citizens replaced the bag of grain with a quill. Fact number 32. None of Shakespeare's original manuscripts exist, since they were written quickly for his stage performances. In fact, there's no hard evidence proving that Shakespeare could even write a complete sentence. Fact number 33. Shakespeare had several bitter haters. His jealous rivals, known as the University Wits, criticised and made fun of his work. One writer, named Robert Greene, even referred to him as an upstart crow. Fact number 34. Shakespeare's plays only ever casted male actors. Interestingly, even the women parts were played by men, meaning the likes of Juliet would have been played by a man at the time. Fact number 35. Shakespeare lived through the Black Death. The epidemic killed over 33,000 people in London alone in 1603. Shakespeare was just 39 years of age at this point. Fact number 36. Shakespeare lived a double life. During the 17th century, he was known as a famous playwright in London, but in his hometown of Stratford, he was a highly respectable businessman and property owner. Fact number 37. It's possible that Shakespeare wore a gold hoop earring in his left ear. Even then, earrings on men were already trendy hallmarks of a bohemian lifestyle, as evidenced by images of other Elizabethan artists. Fact number 38. Shakespeare had given rise to many memorable and hilarious insults. Among these, "Thou art like a toad, ugly and venomous." Fact number 39. Shakespeare's vocabulary was estimated to be around 17,000 to 29,000 words. That's double the number of words used by the average person at the time. Fact number 40. A number of today's common expressions were coined by Shakespeare. These were wild goose chase, foregone conclusion, in a pickle, break the ice, and for goodness sake. Fact number 41. Shakespeare was the most quoted author in Samuel Johnson's Dictionary of the English Language. Johnson was one of the most important English writers of the 18th century. Fact number 42. Shakespeare's plays are usually separated into 3 main divisions. These are comedies, All is Well that Ends Well and A Much Ado About Nothing, histories, Henry V, and tragedies, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and Othello. Fact number 43. In 1890, Eugene Schieffelin, an American bardador, decided to import every kind of bird mentioned in Shakespeare's works to America. This resulted in a flock of 60 starlings being released in New York. Fact number 44. Hamlet was based on a well-known Scandinavian legend, Amleth. The word Amleth means one who bore with his madness. Fact number 45. Shakespeare's plays contain 200 references to dogs and 600 references to birds. Birds were an important motif in Hamlet. Fact number 46. Shakespeare's works had the royal seal of approval. Queen Elizabeth and King James I were both Shakespeare's patrons. The Virgin Queen loved theatrical entertainment and even used her influence to progress English drama. Fact number 47. Shakespeare was often referred to as an Elizabethan playwright. Most of his plays, however, were written in the Jacobean period. Fact number 48. Shakespeare's popularity blossomed after the Romantic period and during the Victorian period. He received praise from famous poets like Samuel Taylor Coleridge and Victor Hugo. Fact number 49. Shakespeare never edited his own writing. His fellow playwright Ben Jonson once said, "Whatsoever he penned, he never blotted out a line." Fact number 50. Shakespeare's company performed their last play in honour of the aged Queen at the Palace of Richmond on February 2nd, 1603. Shortly after that, in March of the same year, the Queen died from an illness. And that was 50 facts about William Shakespeare. Thank you for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more amazing facts. If you still haven't had your fact fix, try watching some of these videos. And if you have any suggestions for topics you'd like to see covered, please leave a comment down below.